All right, y'all, I'm back. Apologies for the absence here. My wife and I had our first child, so kind of been trying to figure out what that rhythm looks like and how to get in here and get away for a few minutes to make some of these videos. Um, I kind of was trying a few things on this next video idea, and it took a minute to kind of land with where I wanted to talk about, but I think this plugin came out Velvet, and I wanted to test it out, so I was testing it out and trying and putting it uh, through its paces, and I kind of wanted to just talk about de-essing in general. I think that's a good thing to kind of go over, and I brought up this track that I did for Zeal. It's song original by there is called Your Presence. This is like the studio version we did, and Kelly, this singer here, the sibilants, it took me a bit to figure it out. Now these are all the mix stems and stuff like that, so this already has some stuff going on, but I just kind of wanted to go over on what I do and also kind of talk about this Velvet plugin. So this thing is set up to like learn your sibilants, so you can go through here and find a place that it's pretty sibilant.
I'm done searching for all the answers.
So that's a pretty good spot. We'll just go learn.
I'm done searching for all the answers. I'm done searching.
And it gives us a dynamic EQ band right here, with an amount knob and a threshold knob to kind of adjust how it's hitting that for taking care of your de-essing pretty transparently. And then they also have this tonal control here, and I kind of, as I was experimenting with it, I kind of like just cranking it and then moving my mids and highs up to kind of see how like what I'm hearing here. Velvet can kind of smooth out my highs here, and so I was experimenting with that.
I'm done searching for all the answers, all the things found in people of gold. In you alone, I found the end.
That's pretty cool. And then this I've got it on the tame, which is just dealing with resonances that I have. Lift is like boosting places that it thinks it should lift. We've talked about it a million times. I don't really like additive EQ, and I especially don't like it when it's moving. So I'm trying out this tame stuff here on the mid.
I'm done searching for all the answers, all the things found in people of gold.
Like I said, I'd already mixed this vocal, so it's not like I'm wanting to pull a lot of that out. I'm just trying to kind of push the plugin and see where it goes and what I like or don't like about it. I will tell you this D-click, sorry, my dog's in here and he's scratching Benny. I don't like D-click on my whole track. I do use D-click a lot, but I'll go through and I just highlight. I use it in Audio Suite, and I just highlight an area that's got a click I need to get rid of, because if I use it on the whole thing, the whole track, I lose a little something. Now, is it crazy noticeable? Not really, but to me, it's like it's taking away stuff that I don't want it to take away. I only want to take away the clicks, so I usually just use it locationally. Like if this word has a click, I will just declip that. So I have this set to off because I don't like it just like automatically doing it. I want to like choose where it goes, and that just kind of is like a general rule. I'm typically not doing, I don't like tools that like do it all for you or do things for you. I like being subtle and just like moving the needle. So this is pretty cool. It's pretty transparent. I like what it's doing here, and it's quick, to use this learns, and it kind of picks out where it's the worst, what frequency, so it can help out with that. So that's pretty cool. But I will say, I'm going to get rid of this and kind of show you how I do my de-essing as well. And this is extremely time consuming, and but to me, this is like how I get like a super consistent, reliable result where I can like even boost my high end and it doesn't get crazy on me. So I pan DS everything. I don't like to rely on a tool, or it's not necessarily even relying on, I use de-essers, but I want to be more subtle, and I don't want the plugin to work as hard. And sometimes just like one de-esser is not enough to like get it done. And sometimes it's targeting an area that something else is popping out of. So I'll go through, once I get my vocal pretty dialed in, I'll go through and I'll make sure it's exactly where I want it to be. And I do that by hand. So like this way I can turn it up, I can automate it exactly where I want it to be. My high end can be exactly where I want it to be. And then the spots that are sticking out are getting a little too, say hi, Benny, that are getting a little too harsh, I can just deal with on a case by case basis. So like over here, let's see here.
All I want is to be.
So like this right here, this is what my S's look like. And I can separate, I just highlight it and press B. Press B over here because this T is sticking out a lot too. So what I'll do is I press option 6, and I built some macros in here. So that pulls up this screen, and 1 on my keyboard is kind of like my general S, like a little bit of EQ, and then it pulls it down volume wise. And then I'm, and now this is sticking out a lot, but T's and like T's, D's, B's, like P's, those things that kind of are like consonants, but not necessarily the same as my S. I do 3 on my keyboard, and that's just only pulling volume out.
All I want is to be.
And that's like, I mean, that's night and day. Listen to this.
All I want is to be. All I want is to be right where.
And then this velvet doesn't have to work as hard.
All I want is to be right where you.
And it can be more subtle, or I can dig in a little bit more on it, but I'll go through, and that's what it looks like when I'm trying to de-ess my lead vocal.
Be right where you are. All I want is your presence.
I'll do it to my breaths. Maybe that breath is a little too loud for this moment.
Where you are. All I want is your presence.
So this one, you can always tell what the S's look like. They look like they're super dense in comparison to like a waveform. So I just go through here.
All I want is your presence. All I want is your presence.
Those are fine.
All I want is your G.
This G, it's a J, but it kind of sounds like a ch. Well, let's just try some gain.
One is your G.
That's okay. Let's try this.
Is your G.
It's too much, right? So maybe it's just like a dB or something.
All I want is your G.
Maybe a little bit more than a dB.
All I want is your Jesus. All I want is your Jesus.
But that's how specific I'll get on my S's, because I just don't feel like a de-esser can do, any de-esser I've run into can do that kind of work. It's so much more tailored, because even I had Velvet on that whole time and I still wanted to do some of that work. So I will put like usually Pro DS is where I'm at, and I have it on there, and I'll even do this editing because I want to. I'm going through and I'm addressing things that my plugin's not catching, and I can sit there and tinker with my plugin or automate my plugin like crazy and everything else like that, but that's just like, this seems faster. Of course there's some setup work and stuff, like my when I break and I press 1, I set this up, and you can store this as a preset. So these 1 2 3 4, that's with my keyboard up here. So I just set these presets up to be this, like this EQ cut. And it's just from experimenting. That's just kind of generally like a good de-esser setting. And sometimes this EQ isn't right. There's like a whistle or something going on, so I have to go through and adjust these EQs. But it's a good general starting place and kind of does the job for me. And then I have a setting for like P's, like plosives that happen in the microphone and stuff like that. So that's 2 on my keyboard. So if that ever happens, I can go through and hit 2 on there. But I don't like a do it all plugin. So this Velvet sounds great, and it's no knock on that. It's just I wouldn't be relying on this 100% to get the job done. I'm still going to go through and take the time to do that, because the vocal's the most important thing. I'm not going to leave it to an AI engine, no matter how good it sounds, to get it done. So I do like to get very specific on my de-essing. But this is cool. Like this, this learn function makes it super quick, and I do think it's pretty transparent. And I'm gonna do another video where I kind of show you the difference between like this and a few other plugins and stuff like that. And I'm gonna kind of talk about how I go about like learning a plugin, or finding out what a plugin is great at, because I've got so many plugins, and now it's come down to where I use like one plugin in very specific use case scenarios, and not for everything. And so sometimes it's like a plugin I don't even end up using on a mix, which is like crazy when you spend as much as you do on these plugins. But it just comes down to what accomplishes the job, and for me, and what gets me across the finish line. And faster is great. I want to get across the finish line faster, but I won't sacrifice the quality of like the vocal for faster. So yeah, check out Velvet. Let me know what you think, and what your experience has been with the plugin, and how you go about your de-essing, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.